Hi, welcome to the Ninth House Enigma channel. Today I'm going to talk about the moon signs and how it's going to affect you as a person. For example, if you have your moon sign in Sagittarius, what does that mean? And what does that represent in your chart? So let's start. Moon in Aries. Moon in Aries. So these are people who are can be when it comes to their emotions because the moon represents your emotions, possibly like the relationship with your mother, how you feel about mothers, your own mother, motherhood. The moon also represents like your hidden self, like the self that you don't want to reveal to others. The moon is also your emotional landscape, how you feel, how you respond, and it's also maybe what you don't want to reveal to others in your life. And it's also important to know in which house your moon is, so that also can influence your life and your birth chart. And also the moon, I would say, because it's linked to the sign of Cancer or moon child, um, the moon can also maybe indicate like which types of desserts you might like. So maybe someone who has it in a water sign um, likes maybe desserts more than a moon sign in the element of fire, as someone who probably wants to have something more spicy at the end of a meal or as a meal in general. So the moon is also like represents like dairy, desserts, because it's like water, meals that are like watery, soft, so the texture is like soft and also delicate and smooth. So I might make you hungry with this video. Also, what's interesting about the moon, um, although it's not really a planet, um, the moon is a planet in astrology. I found that the moon is helps you also to understand people in general better when it comes to their relationships. So it's not only like the Venus and Mars that gives you an idea like to which person you're attracted to and maybe what your love life mm, will have like as a flavor, but your moon teaches you how you nurture others and how you nurture yourself. So if you're want to, for example, meet a new person, it might maybe be a friend or it's going to be more relationship wise. It's worth looking into their moon because you will find parts of themselves that are not being maybe revealed to meeting. It's like a bit more hidden. It's like it's like, it's beneath the surface, but it gives you so much well, not only information, but like how they are as a person and what they really need. Because in a relationship, it's not only important to look what you want and what you're attracted to or what you like. It's also important to know what do you need in a relationship or what does the person need from you or from a relationship or from people in general. So if you know what you need, and this is where it gets also interesting, um, when people have like a sort of addiction, um, I would say it's really, really worth looking with their moon, like what do they need in their life and how and why do they use that kind of substitute or why do they develop? And it's also probably based on trauma and other experiences in life. So what do you need? So I think that's how we can maybe continue with the moon. Um, so Moon and Aries, these people need a lot of action. When it comes to their feelings, it's they experience them in a very, they're like direct about them. So Moon and Aries are usually direct about their feelings. They express them in a very like, this is what it is and this is how I feel. So they don't fuss about feelings. I might maybe be prone actually to fighting because Aries, because they're so direct, so they might have to be careful and maybe take a step back and maybe remember, okay, the other person might maybe not agree with you or might not feel. So Moon and Aries maybe have to elaborate more and also really, really connect actually with their feelings than just like this kind of instinctual what's coming up, like for example, like anger or uncomfortable emotions. Like really, really take this time to connect with them. Moon and Taurus. So Moon and Taurus are very, very, they're like, these are like comfort creatures. They like to take things slow. They want to, they really need security. They need stability. These are people who don't mind living, having a comfortable life, and it's not like full of action, which is very different from Moon and Aries. And Men in Taurus also tend to have like these kind of they're surrounded by things or by food or that just makes them feel at home. That like they might, these are people who might maybe have like a little snack with them, or they might enjoy yoga a lot because it grounds them. Because remember, Taurus is an earth sign. It grounds their energy. And also, Moon and Taurus, they tend to have like, yeah, they're like snackers, I would say. Like they don't mind having a snack. They get quite hungry. I think maybe they use it to ground. So there it's very important that if they feel that they need to ground, is it really through food or through an activity or maybe talking their feelings out? So these are people who maybe have to do movement to get their feelings going. Like so they don't become lethargic or lazy or, too comfortable in what they are. So they're actually very difficult, like, oh, I feel comfortable here with my emotions, so they have to avoid stagnation. So movement is, or exercise, any kind of exercise is helpful. Moon in Gemini, they like to talk their feelings out. They like to talk a lot. And sometimes at the expense that they talk too much or express their feelings too much or what they need. Um, Often I've noticed that their mothers are people who they see themselves more as friends. Like so, it's probably a mother who also helped them to grow intellectually, maybe even have intellectual conversations. They tend to have inherited the intelligence from their mother a lot because Gemini is an intellectual, very sociable beings. Might actually be prone to burn out because they're like social butterflies. They need it, so it's vital that they remember that they also have like, limited energy levels, otherwise they're gonna get burnt out. These are people who really need to read books, engage in intellectual activities, or even art, or something that keeps their mind active. Um, Moon and Gemini also tend to be very smart. They get things very quickly. They like to compartmentalize, and they always something to say. And as people, very curious people, very sociable, very likable, but they tend to intellectualize their feelings as well. So again, here it's important that they maybe connect like what they feel on an emotional level, and that doesn't always go straight to their head or to their mind. So one valuable piece of advice would be is to like, how do I feel? Not how do I think about it? How do I feel like is it comfortable? Is it not comfortable? Is it hot? Does it make angry? Which memories? So really, really feel the emotion. So they could practice maybe with a water sign like Moon in Pisces. A good example like okay, let's go here through the emotions. Let's see what we feel. Then we have Moon in Cancer or Moon Child. Now that's like in its home. Doesn't mean necessarily it's going to make it easier. So these are human beings who are very emotional, sensitive. They know they have feelings. They tend to actually sometimes they're aware of their feelings, but they don't always want to share with them. They probably just they're very protective about them, and they will just share with them with people they trust, which is not a bad thing. However, sometimes it can stop from them to connect with people. So you don't have to open up with everyone you meet, but maybe have some faith in people, and you will be surprised that with some people you are able to talk about your emotions or talk about things that nourish you, that you like, that make you feel excited. Um, so with this placement, it's I would say journaling. Being creative, like express yourself maybe through arts. It could be dancing, writing, painting, collage, decorating, or playing an instrument. Wonderful, like playing an instrument to feel, but at the same time find some healthy release because you could tend to wallow in your emotions. Then we have Moon in Leo. Moon and Leo have very, very dramatic feelings. Like when they share what's going on, it's gonna be like with this kind of flair of drama and um they're like the storyteller when it comes to the emotions. They will tell probably people like how they felt. Like it's gonna be like listening to a story and um Moon and Leo usually tend to be wonderful with children because Leo makes them very not only protective, but it's like they have this kind of leadership. And so children will be very drawn to them. They tend to have mothers who are like, who are, I don't know what like the boss. There's something queenly about their mother, like maybe has some kind of status or is a very attractive woman. She's very leonine. And it's possible that like as a woman you will inherit that as well, this kind of leonine appearance or this leonine, being very regal, the way you um walk through life. Moon and Leo are very proud, and you should never, 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 never hurt their ego. However, we're all human beings, so they probably will have to learn from that experience what it means to get hurt, and someone, maybe thinks they know better than them, and they will learn from it. So Moon and Leo, might actually be very sensitive if people hurt their feelings and it's about their pride or ego. So what you can do in case that moment arrives is instead of maybe like lashing back like a Leo, maybe take a step back and maybe understand like from which situation that person comes from. And so here it's important that they take like perspective, and they don't have this necessity to always lash back and to protect and defend. That it's okay when people disagree, as long they don't do it in a very unkind way. So yeah, so Moon in Leo, very, very proud, and there might be also sometimes there will be moments they don't want to share with people because they're too proud because they think, oh, otherwise they will see me. They don't like it when people see them in a weak position. So here, allow yourself to be vulnerable. Allow yourself to cry even if you don't like it, but allow yourself because the more you keep your feelings to yourself because you want to keep this kind of aura, like I have it all together, um, the more maybe your connections might maybe be more stifled and people might not open up to you. Then we have Moon in Virgo. Again, like Gemini, an intellectual moon sign. Moon in Virgo, these people, they love learning. They need to learn. If they don't learn, it can be anything. They probably love being at school, learning, being at university, or learning a new skill. They also important, they have to help people. So they love helping people, like being of service. So just be careful that you don't forget yourself as well, little moon in Virgos, because you count as well. You can't just always help other people and then the ship, because it's important that you also have to look after your own energy levels. Moon in Virgo. It is possible that they have maybe a mother who might be very critical or judgmental, or a mother who always wants to help them, or taught them that it's important to help other people, to be of service, so being a good role model. Also here, Moon and Virgo have a tendency to intellectualize their feelings. And maybe also, but this is because this is the right thing to do, this is because I have to do, and maybe think and pause and say why, and can they maybe do it without me as well? Can I do it? Can I survive without not helping anyone? Can I do it? So yeah, that's like a little bit of a reflection prompt for you. For this placement, also great for journaling, counseling, helping people, uh, turning your helping nature into a profession or into a career, or turning it into a business. Then we have Moon in Libra. So Moon in Libra, these are people who love harmony. They need the balance. They need to be diplomatic. They struggle with conflict. So this is, I would say, the sign of out of all the moon signs who struggle with conflict the most. You have to learn from conflicts. You have to get acquainted with them. You have to learn that it's part of life. It's also part of how you will grow as a person. If you always avoid conflicts, you uh well, it's not it can lead to also like to stagnation, and because you're actually so good to see it from two perspectives, like from two sides, um hone those skills, and you would actually be a good peacemaker. So when there's a fight, and because you're like, oh, I know how to keep the peace, you would actually be good being a mediator and intervening if there's like a fight. However, there's a tendency to be addicted to harmony and to keep things nice and pretty, and you would be even be a good at decorating things, keeping things beautiful. Another placement actually where expressing yourself in the arts could be reflected and could be nurtured as well. Then we have Moon in Sagittarius. Moon in Sagittarius are people who need adventure. They can be restless, a little bit like sudden, unexpected. When it comes to their emotions, it could be like with grand gestures, or nothing really at all. You might not feel comfortable with sharing your emotions. It might maybe feel like ooh, that's maybe too wishy-washy because as a Sagittarius, if you have Moon in Sagittarius and in the sign of you want to keep things light. Now, life is not all about keeping things light. Life also means about sharing things that aren't nice, that are traumatic, that are awful. things that aren't, you know, so optimistic, can be depressing. So for Moon and Sagittarians, confront yourself with those emotions when they get difficult, when they're like maybe not so glory. And then again, I think I really recommend to do some kind of sport to deal with those emotions in case it gets tough or uncomfortable. So movement is good. I would also say I think Moon and Sagittarius process to traveling. So commuting might maybe be a good idea for you, or driving with your car or taking the bus and process there while you're on that journey. How you feel, like really, really practice some kind of mindfulness while you're traveling, while you're on the go or on the train. Um, because that's actually how you connect with emotions. Um, and then we have Moon in Scorpio. Moon in Scorpio is in its fall. They say that if you have Moon in Scorpio, you inherited the trauma of your mother. Not always, but mostly. And it is an uncomfortable position. It is, you could say, more darker placement. However, because there's this discomfort because you feel so much. So I would say it's more comfortable in Pisces and Cancer. It's like, yeah, emotions, emotions, flow, flow, flow. But Scorpio, because it's a fixed sign, it's like you need a way to release them in a healthy way. It's like a pressure tank, like something is stressing you. You might not maybe say it. Someone is annoying you. You might maybe keep it to yourself. And there's this, and the stress just gets bigger. So Moon in Scorpio, um, it's a gift, and you're able to transform people's lives if you know how to deal with your emotions. Because Scorpio is the sign of transformation, and with this moon, it's very common that when you're young, you're like, "Oh my God, why is this happening? I'm so sensitive. Everything is just too much. I think I'm about to cry or to have a crisis." Yes, it can feel like that, especially when you're a teenager. Every day feels like a crisis. So that's why it's so important to have like this kind of self-care and find ways and or activities where you can engage. And also Minoscope, these are people who would benefit actually from counseling themselves or offer counseling to others because they learn that other people are also going through difficult times and it's not only about them. So that's a bit the downside when you have Minoscope, you always think it's just you who has like those crisis moments or challenges in life, but by interacting and also getting more interested in what's going on in other people's emotional lives or lives in general, you will learn that like you're not the only one, and that's okay to have these emotions. So Moon in Scorpio, find ways. It can. I would say dancing is really good for that. Like should a healthy release and also something that's physical in a healthy way. Then Moon in Moon in now I've forgotten it. Oh yes, I made a mistake. It's actually Sagittarius before it's after Libra, it's Scorpio. But I also want to add that like Scorpio moons, they're deep, like their emotions. It's like one of those moon, like it is the moon so with the deepest emotion. It's like it comes from the earth, well beneath the earth, and then it goes up, and then when it comes on, it's like wow. So, and that's why it's so powerful and so dangerous at the same time. So as long you find activities that ground you and offer a healthy release, it's going to be okay. So yes, it's supposed to be actually after Scorpio Sagittarius. So I have to move now to Capricorn. So Capricorn is Moon in Capricorn. So I said about Moon in Scorpio, they inherited trauma of their mother. Moon in Capricorn, they inherited um yeah, so they inherited like the more like the not necessarily the yes, they inherited the problems of their mother. So what I found also, Moon and Capricorn people tend to have like not such an easy relationship. It's very, very rare that I meet people say, "Oh, my relationship is with my mother's fine." So Moon and Capricorn have this because there's Moon and Capricorn, which is also a bit more complicated. So yeah, they inherit the problems of their mother. Their relationship with their mother isn't great. Their mother might have been very critical towards them, or they're very critical towards their mother figure. And Moon and Capricorn, they're very, very they like to climb the ladder. They're very ambitious people. They're very like these are people who get things done, and work always matters. They tend to often forget like how do I feel like because it's like no work matters. Oh no, I have to do this. I have this to-do list that never ends, and they do many things at the same time. But they also have to. It's important that they take like time for themselves and um and that is has nothing to do with work. So these people, um, they have to remember that they just can exist. Like they don't have obviously, they don't have to work like to be of value. Uh, have a bit difficult with expressing their emotions, and that's why it's helpful for them to have a partner who helps them to express these kind of emotions and offers them that kind of space and clarity and also this kind of warmth and genuineness. So they might find it maybe difficult to relate to people. And so finding the right people who offer them kind of space can be very helpful and transformative. Um, they're very independent. These are people who don't want to be told, tell me how you feel. They will tell you when they're ready to share it with you. So you can't force those people. And they're very, um, I can imagine in relationships, they can be a bit businesslike. However, like if they find the right person who allows this kind of space, you will find someone who's very honest and also trustworthy. So the good thing about this placement, these are people who are very trustworthy. Like if you are in crisis or you need help, um, they're gonna help you no matter what happens. So they're very reliable and they're very also disciplined. So very important for them to actually stay disciplined throughout their life. And the way they express their emotions, you will see it's not like chaotic. It has some kind of structure as well. Um, then we have a moon in Aquarius. Hmm. Moon in Aquarius have they are probably the sign that's like the most attached from yeah, from all the other signs, like from feelings. So Moon and Aquarius tend to intellectualize as well. But for them, it's more like, but this is what the world thinks and the collective. And I'm a humanitarian. And then you have to ask them, so what do you think? What do you feel like? What do you say? And it always connects them with the world. So it's sometimes a bit difficult to get like the individual out of the Aquarium when you have Moon in Aquarius. They also might maybe be like flighty, unexpected, and they love this. So these are people who, when it comes to partnerships or relationships, they need people who can keep up with them, like having these kind of unexpected, their feelings might maybe come out of nowhere. They might maybe express it in a very unconventional way. So maybe instead of saying I love you, they will maybe I don't know, they will do it. Actually, actually really a good scene is from Gilmore Girls. I think it's Logan. He sends Rory a gift, and I think it's like a rocket. And then Rory remembers, oh yes, 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 I remember this event. We did this, this is. So this is actually a perfect example for someone who has Moon in Aquarius. That's how they would show their feelings. They're not necessarily people who will say immediately, I love you, but they will show it in a very interesting and unsurprising way. So don't expect I love you immediately from someone who has Moon in Aquarius. Um, that's more, yes, that's more probably what a Moon in Cancer will do. But Moon in Aquarius. So if you are someone who's more eccentric and doesn't mind when other people are eccentric as well and can cope with people's differences. And it's not like the norm. And then Moon in Aquarius people are maybe the right people for you. Also, Moon in Aquarius, I probably have like a mother who's very eccentric or unconventional. She might have been a gypsy or an astronaut, very different from the norm. And they maybe have, or they maybe have like really, really, really strange or unconventional views about their mother, or they see mother figures in a different way, and or their mother was very different from the community, society. Yeah, so Mini-Aquarians have to be careful that when it comes to their emotions, that it doesn't go again straight to the head, but they have to connect with their heart more. So I would say mm, like doing activities that are like in the collective, like actually these are people who really need to do collaborations, work in groups, work for a charity, humanitarian, meet an eclectic group of people. You know, it could be a drama group. They have to be in a group, even if it's just one group. They have to be in this kind of collective because that's how they actually connect to their emotions, because they will see and it will be mirrored. So very important for Aquarians to yes to be in a group. Then finally, we have Moon in Pisces. Final one. Moon in Pisces are very empathetic, sensitive. They could swim forever in their emotions. They're comfortable with them. Whether they were going to share them with others or not depends again on their emotions. So, so these are people who could actually share with everyone. They were going to share with everyone their emotions, or they might maybe share them to themselves because Pisces can be also very solitary people. So here I really, really recommend for these people to listen to music to connect with their emotions. Connect it through fantasy, movies. They should watch movies that like, you know, that nourish them, that nurture them, because it's fantasy and imagination. Um, do going to the cinema, see a ballet, something that really instilled them like this kind of spark. Like these are what I would say Moon and Pisces are actually like Cancer. These are people who have to do activities they did as a child. So maybe that means watching a Disney movie or activities they love. Maybe it was like puzzle. So these are because they tend to be very serious about their feelings. So elevating them by doing activities that instill imagination and fantasy helps them not to get like stuck. Well, not stuck, but like they tend to swim in their emotions or feelings. So that there is some kind of spark as well. Um, and also, I think they should reach out to humans. And not just because you also have people who do all these activities, but every time they have these kind of emotions, they're just isolating themselves from other people while they're doing these activities. So don't forget to reach out to other people, connect with humans in real life. And that's it. So I hope you enjoy my moon sign series from Aries to Pisces. And I'm really, really looking forward to your comments. And I wish you, yes, a wonderful weekend. And I will see you soon. Bye bye.